Hey everyone, it's Andy here. And today I just wanted to talk a little bit about two topics. One is around the IRS being broken, based on an interesting article in the Washington Post, which confirms what a lot of people are seeing with long delays in their refund processing and the challenge in getting in hold of someone at the IRS to talk about their tax return and potential refund. And the other one I'll talk on is refund direct deposit dates. I know there was a big date this week after the PATH Act cleared, but I'll talk about what's coming in the next 3 weeks to give you some idea of when future refunds will be coming before it goes back into a normal schedule. As always, hit the like button if this information is useful to you and keep subscribing to get more videos like this. I appreciate that. So just on the article I was mentioning, it came out in the Washington Post yesterday, and I'll post a link in the description here. And I think it summarizes what a lot of people already kind of know. And over the last few tax years, despite the IRS, I think, doing a good job in rolling out the stimulus checks and the advanced child tax credit in the middle of a pandemic, it's obvious to everyone who's had issues with filing tax returns, even those who filed last year who are still waiting for them and amended returns or returns which are complex. It's taking a while for the IRS to process these and pay refunds. Across social media, across my channels, across my blog, I'm just seeing a lot of comments around the thought that why can't they get more information? Why is it taking so long? And just a general level of frustration. And even the IRS has acknowledged these challenges, as I've covered in some previous videos. And the Washington Post, I think, summarized it really well around why this is happening. So, as everyone knows, one big issue is processing backlogs. Approximately 8 million were reported at the start of the year. The agency did say they reduced it, but then the new tax season starts, there's a whole new surge. And so the agencies also had to deal with staffing shortages and lack of funding, and they were initially going to close some centers to try and more efficient. They've left those open. They've created search teams as well to try and deal with some of the increasing demands on them. But the Washington Post found that the actual number is 24 million due to other reasons, which they don't count these numbers. All these numbers come from the IRS, so it's sometimes, it may underplay it, which is interesting. And I do think that 24 million is probably more accurate. These backlogs have been building for several years, and despite all the new credits and stimulus programs, it just seemed like folks waiting 6 months to 12 months to get a refund is excessive. And it feels strange when you get a notice to make the payment very quickly, but when it actually comes to giving you money back, it feels like it's a double-edged sword. And so this is why you will see messages like this for a lot of folks this time of tax year. We apologize, but your return processing has been delayed beyond the normal time frame. I can't tell you how many comments and questions I get with this message and topic 152, which I've covered in a few videos here, and I'll link it up here and put some more in the description. But this is a message that's pretty much directly related to the IRS being unable to process returns in a timely manner. It could mean nothing is wrong, it's just a delay on there, and it could mean that your refund is offset, could mean you need to provide more documentation. So it's leaving a lot of people in limbo, and I think it's just a bit frustrating around these extended processing delays. But I think the backlogs and the system issues are a big reason for that. What's causing all these processing backlogs? Well, the Washington Post article goes on to say that a lot of these are due to paper and amended returns that require more staff to process. So the IRS clearly doesn't have enough staff. They can't hire due to budget, and pandemic constraints mean they can't have everyone come into the office. So this is one big reason. And the other half is all the amended returns as well, which then get flagged for more scrutiny, and they just remain unopened until someone can have a look at them. So the combination of these two, the paper and amended returns, is probably a big reason for the majority of the backlog. Now, the IRS is putting out figures. They've got official figures which are lower than what the Post reported, but it does seem strange that people with amended returns and those with paper are taking much longer than those that e-file. And IRS, and I would even recommend e-filing as the fastest way to get the most accurate and efficient return. And I've done a video on that, which I'll put a link to here. But it is this backlog because a lot of people still do paper returns, and amended returns are pretty common as well if you have updated information you need to give to the IRS. But this is what you'll see, because of this, right? Again, more error messages popping up. The old good old topic 152 will come up as well, and they'll keep saying to come back and check status, which a lot of times doesn't tell you much as well. So it is frustrating for a lot of those folks that have especially got amended returns going back into 2020 as well. So what's the solution? And the article does briefly touch on, the solution is basically, going to be more funding. The IRS budget has been slashed by about 18% in the past decade. And if you account for inflation and everything else, it's a lot. And so if, agency which has been getting a lot more tax returns, a lot more people are filing returns, especially the last few years, to get all the tax credits and tax breaks. So with the reduced budget, there's a lot more fraud, a lot more security needed to protect information. So this has meant the cost of protecting security has gone up a lot, both cyber and real security. So with the budget cuts, which really should have been having growth every year, the cut has meant that there is no near-term relief. Of course, when all these cuts happen, they have to slash back what they can do, and many studies have shown that the rich or those with sort of the biggest or most complex tax returns benefit the most because the IRS can only do limited audits, and those people who have the money can hire the best lawyers and accountants to deal with any audits. And so the IRS is focused on, where can they get the biggest bang for their buck. So a lot more people, who used to probably get more, audited, those they're not getting right now, and the numbers have dropped a lot. Where only I think there's a few percentage now of the entire population that gets audited. So that's probably been one thing there, and you can see that obviously this is going to be more of a Republican supported issue because they tend to be a party that is less about government interference and letting the system work. So a lot of the focus goes on Republicans who have cut back funding or at least oppose providing more funding to the IRS. Now, I don't want to get too political, but you can read the Washington Post, and it gives you more facts and statistics on that. But basically, it comes down to there will be investments into the billions of dollars needed over the next few years if the IRS has to modernize the system and hire the right staff, train them up, get people, working in the IRS is not always considered the most glamorous role in the world. So just attracting the right staff is hard, and you need a big investment. You need, bipartisan support in Congress, which, I don't know if that'll happen given how divided the country is when it comes to anything around spending more money on government services. But the only way to fix these issues and to prevent more pain is to modernize the systems and have more staff. And unless that's done, you'll keep seeing these issues get worse over the next few years. So there's the fix is there, but getting the will to do it is a different story as well. Turning to some slightly better news, the IRS is processing refunds. It's not completely broken, but with the PATH Act finishing in mid-February, there has been now refunds sort of flowing through, and I covered in my earlier update, that almost 15 to 16% of all returns have been processed, and almost 10 million refund payments have been made. So you can see here, there's a lot of people who got a whole bunch of refund payments the week of Feb 22nd to Feb 24th. So that's great. I think a lot of those early filers who filed in sort of when tax season opened up at the end of January, so they were held up due to PATH Act. Their refund processed as normal, probably delayed slightly more than the 21 days the IRS has its standard SLAs against. So folks now who didn't get their WMR or refund payment, a lot of them got a refund payment for the upcoming week, March 1st to March 3rd. Now, again, it could be plus or minus a day here, and if you get it depending on your bank, whether you get it paid on card, you should get a major update this weekend, and I'll talk a little about how to see your cycle code and which update you're on. But a lot of people will get an update by the end of this weekend if they haven't already got it on Feb 26th, and then they should see the direct deposits early next week between March 1st and March 3rd. And the IRS website actually said a lot of people should be paid by March 1st, which is a good sign that those direct deposits should hit next week. And then again, that cycle will probably repeat. You'll get a major update next weekend around by March 5th, if not sooner. And then March 8th to March 10th, you should see a whole round of major updates and direct deposit payments. So that's a good sign that a lot of these people who were stuck by PATH, that means they claim the EITC and the ACTC, will get paid. And then it should follow a normal schedule. I'll put a link for that below, where normally they're processed they're approved within 2 to 3 days, and then the refund comes a week or so later after that. And that'll keep happening till the end of April, and then all throughout the year as well for those that are extended returns or where there's some delays. Quickly, I keep getting these in my comments below. So To figure out your cycle code, which is basically when your return is in the IRS master file and when it's essentially updated for processing and potentially when you see a direct deposit refund. So you can only get your cycle date here, as you can see on the screen. You'll see your cycle date from the previous year, and so look for the one which has a 2022 date. You'll see here, I've just got the marker here, so make sure you look for that one. You'll see it against code 150 means your tax return has been filed and it's now in the master file. So basically, because the IRS has batch processing systems, everything goes into a cycle. And while you're thinking of update every day, you generally are put into a what they call a daily or a weekly cycle, right? So you have the year, the week of the year, and the day of the week, and really all you really care about is the last two digits. Make sure you're looking at the 2022 and not the 2021 cycle. So if you're a 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4 means your daily processing, which means that your file you're in a file that could be processed every day, so you could get an update. But as I've discussed in another video, there are certain days that WMR and IRS to go update. And then weekly also has a cycle where you normally only will see an update and direct deposit once a week. And so that'll be the last two digits. For example, you can see here, this year, this person is 03, which means daily. Last year, they were 05. And, this can change during the tax season, but also it changes year to year, right? And ultimately, you want to get code 846 to basically be the one that a refund is issued. That's sort of the happy code, right? But the cycle can tell you sort of when you're going to get the updates. And as you saw from what I showed you previously, if you get an update on the weekend, you'll normally get the direct deposit date the following week. So those are generally people in the weekly cycle as well. Well, that's all for now. Hopefully this information here was helpful or interesting to you. Like I said, please hit the like button. It helps me out with this video on YouTube, and subscribe to keep getting more updates. Bye.